Welcome everyone. This is Lauren Binder, the marketing director, not the person you're seeing in the video there. That's Payman. I'm the marketing director for the OnGo Alliance. Most of you are familiar with us, but just for those who aren't, we're a group of ecosystem partners that drive the adoption of CBRS shared spectrum and work to promote its different use cases and business opportunities. We're really happy to showcase one of our newest members, Eino, and their AI-powered network planning solution. And we have with us here Payman Samadi, the founder and CEO of Eino, and I'll pass it over to him. Take it away.
Hi everyone, thanks Lauren for the intro. I'm here today to talk about our platform. Our aim is to designing any wireless network anywhere using our tool. This is the plan we have for today. The agenda, we'll start with some intro to Eino.ai. I'll explain why we're doing what we're doing, all the details about our platform and differentiators that we have there. Then we're going to go through an outdoor network planning, talking about how you generate the scene without the clutter and all the details there, going through a network design, generate results, exports, and verify a deployed network. I know many of you have been using Google Network Planner. I'll show how quickly and easily you could import your projects from Google Network Planner to our platform. Then I will talk about indoor network planning. When you have a layout, how to parse that layout, go over to the same process of designing network, getting your results and exporting there. And finally, we leave some time for Q&A. Any question comes, feel free to put it on the chat or questions, and depending on question, we could answer right away or we could leave it to the Q&A. So why we built this company? We realized we are in a new era of connectivity. Up to 5-10 years ago, there was Wi-Fi for majority of the applications that we had, and then there was cellular mainly for all mobile phones. But now we are in this kind of multi-network era that there are various technologies available to SMBs, to enterprises, to mid-market. They could mix and match between private LTE, 5G, fixed wireless, point-to-point, point-to-multipoint, LoRaWAN, Wi-Fi. And in terms of tooling, the tooling first is kind of quite fragmented in the sense that depending on your use case, if you do indoor, if you do outdoor, you need to use different tools. If you use Wi-Fi versus cellular, you need to use different tools. And that makes it quite cumbersome and expensive for companies to kind of get to the private LTE 5G. And we thought, how can we design a platform that you could design any wireless network anywhere, either indoor, outdoor, any technology there. But when we started building this product, we talked to a lot of people and that were building them for many, many years. And as you're all aware, there are 3 phases once we go to the network. We have these kind of pre-sales activities that you come up with some proposal and rough order of magnitude. You go to the engineering side that you have the detailed design and configurations. You go to the deployment that you do the installation and verification. And when we spoke to people, they told us about all sorts of problems that exist in these 3 phases. Starting with the pre-sales activities, you're basically doing some free work, but it has to be accurate at the same time, which are 2 opposing directions. And if you don't do it right, you're going to have less opportunities on top of the funnel, and you're going to have much longer sales cycle there. Then let's say the project is approved, you go to the engineering side. The detailed design is quite expensive and time consuming. And the more and better results you want to get, you need to spend more money there. And there's always a chance that if you underplan, basically you're going to miss the promised SLA to your customer. If you overplan, you're going to have much lower margins there. And then you go to the deployments, and as we all know, there's always modifications and there's always missing configurations, and that results in a lot of rework and slowdowns. So we thought, now that we're building this platform from scratch, how we could solve these problems that exist in different phases of planning networks. So a little bit about our platform. It's a very easy to use platform that everyone from the pre-sales activity all the way to deployment could use for any wireless network anywhere. The promise we provide to our users is that they could provide that initial code, of course, depending on the size, from 10 minutes to an hour. They could do accurate detailed designs in hours. we automatically generate a 3D digital twin of the environment, your bill of material, your proposal, supporting all sorts of network and also supporting both indoor and outdoor with built-in global clutter data. And once people start using our platform, basically what changes for them is that they realize they generate these proposals much faster. They don't need certified people. Everyone within the sales and engineering team could generate pretty good results. They get much more accuracy there. And they're able to show their customers a connectivity digital twin rather than some numbers there. And as a result, there's more opportunities on top of their funnels. They have much shorter sales cycle and they stand out of the competition. Some unique features and differentiators about our platform. It's a web-based platform, so you run it on the browser. It's a collaborative tool, so there's one source of truth. People could work on the same project, shared within the team in a view or an edit format. We have an AI assistant that I'll talk about a little bit later, but it provides automation and recommendation. You don't need to, if you have a project that you have both fixed wireless and private LTE or Wi-Fi design, you don't need to have 3 different types of projects and 3 different tools with different clutter data. It's called be all in one place with the same environment. And as I mentioned, we have built-in global clutter data with different qualities anywhere in the world that you want to build a network. Quick note about our AI assistant. Our AI does basically 3 things. One is the creation of those digital twins, either for indoor and outdoor. Second is providing a workflow automation to make sure you do less clicking on the platform. And gradually, we are building a knowledge base that for each phase in the sales, engineering, or deployment side, it provides very relevant recommendations so you could test different ideas pretty fast. Quickly about our company, we started in 2018 from Cornell Tech University in New York. We support all hardware vendors, but we have close partnerships with many in the Wi-Fi cellular world. We always add more. We have some tier 1 investors from the telecom, from research agency, from the startup ecosystem, and our tool has been used by over 50 teams and 250 users. That was an intro to our platform. Now I want to start a demo about our tool. So this is how our tool looks like. As you could see, it's been run on the browser. I have my projects here, and I have the projects that are shared with me. Very standard way, you have all the tools to share a project between the team in view, edit format, and everyone could basically use it. That helps to collaborate. The project is started by the sales team, could go and be used the same one in the design team and the verification team. The first step when we start an outdoor project is about the scene, the clutter data, and all the details there. And as I mentioned, our platform has built-in global clutter data for anywhere that you want to basically build a network. I go over a workflow of an outdoor project, a few of them, so you see for different areas how it works. We could also do indoor. So to create an outdoor project, you could have some KML polygons. I show you that example later, but you could also quickly search. There are different examples that people generally use. For example, one is for CBRS. It's basically a petrochemical plant. So I find this one easily, Google search, and I put the name. You find that area, and all you need to do is simply draw a polygon around, like, where is my area of interest? And it could be basically any size there. You click next, and what we do is that we go for that area, we collect different types of information. The first is, as they call it, DTM, or the elevation of the earth. Second one is DSM, which is about the trees, and then the buildings there. And as you see, pretty fast, we create this 3D model that has all the information that is needed for this area. You may seem that we have this distinct building somewhere and then not here. It's because we just collect for that area that you put the boundary there. And these buildings there. One thing that our tool has is you have control over all these buildings. You could basically see all of them. You see how high they are, what's their material. If you select in one, it shows you all the assumptions that you have there. Everything could be changed there as you want. If there are new construction that is not there, you could easily draw it. You could copy paste it. For example, I'm pasting this here, and now there is a new one there. You could, group select, group copy, go and draw, any format as you want. And in this sense, you have basically full control over this area. We have this measurement tool that wherever I put my mouse, it basically shows me the height of the train, the elevation from the average sea level. The surface is the height if there's a tree there, and the obstruction basically shows the height of that building there. This is an example of petrochemical plant there. I could show you other examples of how fast and easy we could basically create projects. Here I show with a KML file that basically I have from Google Earth, or a customer provides, automatically finds that boundary there. I click next, and the same thing for this area. We go collect all information that is needed in 3D, and you have basically this generated right away. Here we have a lot of trees here, so if I go basically 3D, you could see that the height of these trees are all there. If there's elevation, anything there, everything is basically there. And for example, if I put the measurement on and I go over areas that we have trees, we are able to basically see the height of these trees, for example, 29 feet, 26 feet. Further than that, we make assumptions on the type of the trees in terms of, well, how much opening you have underneath, how much attenuation is there, and what type of trees we could be changed there. And everything's done frequency dependent. You see at one frequency, but if you do 60 gigahertz, we do all the calculations of the attenuation and everything at basically 60 gigahertz there, and you have your project basically there. Another example for the CBRS that people use a lot is basically using it in rural areas. So this is an example of a place in Mississippi. As you could see, we have all the details, buildings, everything as you want, basically there, and ready for you again. This is a 3D map coming here with all the details as you want there. So I show you a few examples if you want to do somewhere in the middle of mountains, if you want rural areas. I show one other example. One use case is basically mines that people use. Same thing, you simply go find that area. This is the mine that we have there. Again, you find it there. You could zoom out for the location, you search, and you put a polygon around where is that area that you're interested. And the same way, we basically generate that project for you. We get all the relevant information there. And yeah, you're able to basically see that area with all the details there, with all the details of the buildings, changes in the heights, everything's kind of nice and clean and ready for you to use. I'll open one of these examples. There's, for example, this petrochemical plant. And one of the few tools that we have is line of sight analysis. You could go from point A to point B and see exactly how's the train, where are the buildings, where are the trees there. This could be done very quickly. You can move around, find what's line of sight there. If you put the exact value of your transmitter, it shows the first hits and all the Fresnel zone analysis that needs to be done. So that's basically helps out to quickly analyze it. From here, you could go and place your APs. I have some templates here. It's as simple as you just select those templates, place your APs, and a heat map is generated for you right away. If you have more than one, again, you just select, it's there. If I select one AP specifically, it shows the heat map of that one. It shows its lat long. It shows what's the carrier, what's the transmission power, which band it is there. Is it per port? Did I put a splitter? What's uplink downlink split ratio there? What type of modulation MIMO supported? Automated channel assignment, manual channel assignment. This is one carrier. You could have multiple carriers. From here, we have two sectors. What's the name of sector, how high it is. You could say, oh, if I place it above a roof, a building, make sure it's 10 feet above the roof, your down tilt, your max ERP for that carrier. If you have multiple carriers, you see it for each, the direction of your antenna, which side it is basically facing there, the azimuth, so all the details there if you want to basically change. From here, a few things about the platform. It's a 3D simulation, so we are now seeing the heat map at 4.92 feet, that's 1.5 meter. If you have receiver gain, you're able to set that and everything's basically updated. If your UE supports specific modulation format, you could basically put it there. If you want to say anywhere that I have buildings, show me the heat map 4.92 feet above that, you could do that, and it basically, where you have buildings now, it goes on top of it. And that has application for the fixed wireless side. You have full control over basically your heat map in terms of levels, colors, everything. You could change the grid resolution. At the moment, 65. I say I want to do it at 40 feet. Apply, it recalculates, and now my heat map is more granular here. I could put 20, same thing here. It calculates that. So depending on your use case, you're able to run how you want to basically run it there. And what you see here is basically diffraction. If you want to add reflection that happens between these buildings, you could add those. It calculates reflections up to 10 bounces there, and you could basically see how that works there. Yeah, you could quickly finish your design and see all the required stats that's required there. For example, about your coverage, what is your total area here, how much is it served based on the definition of the lowest bin. For example, if I remove this lowest bin, that would be my definition of coverage. On average, each AP, how much it's covering, what's the distribution of my RSRP, what's the distribution of my, what's the drop of my IRSRP? Do I want to say the entire area, or say, okay, exclude buildings, so I just see the outdoor? You could define different types of areas to run analysis there. I have one, it could be multiple different types of areas there. All of those things could be basically done very easily. You have all sorts of KPIs, your primary, your secondary there, interference there, and you could basically, there's no interference because there are two different bands, your SINR, and all the KPIs in terms of what is your total throughput, what is the downlink throughput, what is the uplink throughput based on the capability of the AP and the capability of your UE. And yeah, you see basically all those information there. From here, we have one unique feature that helps on one side to standardize things, and second, be able to very fast verify. So we have a concept of network design. You could have multiple based on different use cases. And what is a good design for you? And you could define it there, and then you could say, compare that with my good design and tell me where I'm missing what. So here, wherever it's pink, I'm missing primary RSRP. Wherever is yellow, I'm missing secondary. And when there's nothing, that means I'm good. So in that way, you could easily wet your designs very, very fast. And there was some question, I'm going there. Can you export API antenna data to CPI list for upload to SAS? Yes, the next thing is about exporting. So we have different options. One is CSV. The CSV gives you a very similar export as you have there in Google Network Planner. So it shows you the lat long, the location, type of AP, the antenna, height, azimuth, all the details, what channel is on there, basically there. So that's a possibility. We also have for your customers, for example, KMZ export, that you could export that in KMZ, and you could put it on the Google Earth and basically see it there. There's a question says, is there a way to set the goals of the project Eino for something specific, say barcode scanner with PLT, have the tool provide suggested and recommended coverage to achieve? Yes, you're able to basically do that. This is a large outdoor, but if I go, for example, open a smaller one here. So for example, I have this, we have an AI placement that works very well in outdoor, but you could also do basically indoor. You could also do for outdoor. You could say, I want to design this network, for example, with Solana AP11, and I want to use this antenna, and I want to make sure at CBRS, I have minimum 105. So based on that technology that you want to support, and this is the height of my APs, and my max ERP that I could support is 41. And you could say, you know, find what is the minimum number of APs that I have there. So as you see, it suggests that 3 APs. And then if I go here, I'm able to see basically that's 98% is about 110. So it tries to do basically meet the criteria that you mentioned, minimum by 95%. It could be more, but doesn't push to 100% because then there's like one small point left. And it doesn't support from within the tool or placement. Can you locate escapes from within the tool or placement decision? Yeah, so it's the same, I think, question there. You're able to use these types of, you know, automated placements based on the antenna and criteria, and based on that, see how it works. I was showing you an export. Let me just open this. So this is an export I did in KMZ, and you know, it exports your APs, everything. So it's on Google Earth there, and you're also we could export. And so, for example, you want to show a 3D view to your customer. You could select any view as you want and export in, you know, in PNG, and you know, get any format as you want there. Let me put back to 2D. So that's your export functionalities. I want to also quickly talk about channel assignment. So one thing we have is that an automated channel assignments, you're able to go and basically say, what are the available channels? For example, at B48, here it says my entire 150 is available, but I could go and say, no, it's not available there. And basically, I only have 40 megahertz available. You could save, and then the platform automatically calculates what channels are available. So it's only 35, 60, 35, 80, and assigns for the minimum amount of, excuse me, interference there. In addition to that, you're able to manually go and select, say, okay, I want to manually select this to 3690. update, and it updates there and use that calculation for all sorts of interference calculation, SINR, throughput, and everything as you have there. I have a question here that says, what's the highest resolution available to analysis? The highest resolution is a bit dependent on the size of the project, because, for example, if you do 30 kilometers to 30 kilometers, then it's very hard to do like in a 1 meter resolution. But the minimum that we usually provide is half a meter, so it's about 1.5 feet. And then depending on the size changes, for example, for this project that I measure from here to here, we're about 3,600 feet. We're able to go all the way down to 6 feet resolution, about 2 meters there. And that's something we always basically improve as well. In terms of the clutter resolution, our clutter resolution is usually, if to go up to 6 kilometers by 6 kilometers is about 1 meter. And then if it decreases from there. So if you go to 30 kilometers by 30 kilometers project, it gets up to 5 meters. So it's between 1 to 5 meters in terms of clutter data underneath, and then the heat map, as I mentioned, depending on the size, but we could go as low as 1.5 feet in a smaller projects, and then larger projects, you see here 6.5, and could go further from that too. Can you locate environmental sensing capability stations from within the tool? I'm not sure about the question. It'd be great if you could expand on that. And then the next thing is about drive test. Yes, we are able to support drive test. So if you have any sort of device, for example, Qualipop from Road Insurance, that you're able to export CSV that has lat long, and it also has KPI, doesn't matter what's the device, you're able to upload. So here is one I've already uploaded. I'm gonna delete it. So it's a simple CSV file, basically lat long, RSRP, it could be any KPI. You upload it here, you set which band this calculation has been done, and yeah, it's added here. So you see all the points of the drive test that has been done. You could receive stats about that, that shows how many points you have, what's mean, max, average, standard deviation, all sorts of details. But you could do further. You could say, validate this compared to my design. And then what it does is our AI goes and finds a design for different points, compares, and gives you the value. So you could easily look around and say, okay, seems like here is the place I have problems. Here I'm good, I'm only in a few dB difference, and here I'm very different. So that's another thing that you could easily do. In terms of business model, we have standard seat-based that you could basically get and you know, use per user there. It says, is the 5 meter ground clutter? What is the vertical clutter resolution? It is our vertical, it's 1 meter, and it goes up to 5 meters there. So it's both X, Y, and Z. We have a set of clutter data that comes free with your subscription, and that is basically all the trees in the world, trees and greenery in the world that exists. We have it. We have all the buildings in the world, their footprint and their height. There are some clutter that are not with it. For example, if you do a petrochemical plant and you have this metal infrastructure there, that's not within the free platform. But you could either draw it, or we are integrated with several data providers that we could get a live code for that and see what works the best for you, and kind of purchase it live, and then within 5 to 25 minutes we add it to your project. So for this area, I have 15 centimeter resolution aerial imagery. I have 1 meter and 6 meter, and it's a price $90 for each. And the reason it's the same because of the size, because there's a minimum size for it, but that's usually just $90. You get 15 centimeter, 1 meter, 6 meter resolution, basically for this area. I have another question here. It says, when showing a structure and there's an antenna at the structure, do you have to specify the antenna height from the ground? So we have both options. For example, if I select this AP, I have an option here that says, if I put it on the ground, put it at 32 feet. But if I put it above a building, make sure it is 6 feet above the roof. So if I do that, and if I go and place this AP above a building and do it, it automatically calculates its AGL, and now it's 25 feet. So you're able to basically automatically have that calculation for you, that if it's within the platform, how it is, and if it's not, basically, if it's above a building, how it is, and if it's not above a building, basically how it works. We have more information about this here that you have. For example, we have your bill of material. It automatically generates your access points and your external antennas. You're able to edit it, put your own pricing. You're able to, you know, add any sort of items to it, you know, save it, and basically it calculates. You're able to export it, or you're able to see it on the report side. We have comprehensive reports that basically shows all this information there that you've done. You're able to export it in PDF. You're able to add your own notes and yeah, and then see which part you want to share with your customer. This is it. So you could say, you know, what you want to show, what you don't want to show. So this shows the total size, my bill of material here, distributions, all the KPIs. For example, you don't want to show secondary, you just remove it, you know, and then it has the list of your APs there, and you're able to export this in PDF. Few more questions. One question says, who pays for the clutter? So we have two sets of clutters. One is that it's free and comes with the platform built in. That's all the trees and all the buildings with their height in the world. And that covers 99% of the cases. The one that I was showing on the extra third-party clutter is for special cases that, for example, if you want to do a petrochemical plant and there is some metal infrastructure that is not within our free data because it is not a building. So that's where you could buy from our partners. Otherwise, it comes free subscription with the subscription everywhere. Do you have the building data for government and DoD buildings? So we don't have yet any information about inside the buildings. That's something you need to have a layout, and I'll show, but we do have the footprints as much as it's available to have. Yes, my next thing is I want to show is the indoor. I want to show one thing here very quickly, and that is how you export your projects from Google Planner. So if you go to the Google Planner, you have reports, and you could export your project, and it gives you a zip file. Once you get that zip file, you basically come to our platform. You say import project archive, and you just drop this zip file, and you click next. They don't have the concept of a radio. That's why you need to say, I want to build this project with Solana AP11. You click next, and we go in the background, we analyze this, and we create your entire project. It usually doesn't take more than 30, 40 seconds, and it becomes available when it's ready. If it's a larger project, you know, many, many kilometers, then it would take much longer. And says, what manufacturer you work with directly for CBRS, for traditional Wi-Fi? We work with everyone. I'll show you some examples here. So this project just came directly from Google Planner. It has all the details in it, so you don't need to touch it, anything. It just comes directly as what it was. In terms of manufacturers, we work with all Wi-Fi, as you could see, Aruba, Cambium, Cisco, Juniper, Extreme Ruckus. We work with different cellular ones, Aerospan, Bicell, Salona, GXC, Moso Labs, Nokia. We have fixed wireless, Cambium, Tarana, Mimosa, and anything you don't find in there, we could add it very easily as long as we have the antenna patterns. So we have relationships we could easily there. So I'm going to go over an indoor, which will answer some of the questions that came from Wi-Fi. So we do the exact same thing for indoor. For indoor planning, you need to start with some sort of layout. You could add any sort of layout to our platform, but if it's a vector file, vector PDF, then we have a lot of automation. This is a three-page PDF. I intentionally do 3 pages. So I show you how the multi-floor works. So I upload it, and basically I click next. One feature that we have here that you're able to geomap your building. And what geomapping means that you're able to say where in the world this building is. So then we automatically scale it and we give lat long to all your APs. It's not necessary, but many people like that. So this place is called Innovation Exchange in UL Washington. So I find this building here, and all I need to do is select 2 points on this map, and then select the same 2 points basically here. And what it does is that automatically scales, automatically finds the footprint of the building, and you need to adjust because sometimes buildings are a little bit rotated there, but it's as simple as that. You click next, and basically it uploads there. I have all 3 floors here as I've done. And from here, like any other tool, we have all sorts of walls and materials and everything that you could do and manually draw. But if it's a vector file like PDF or DWG, you could use our AI and basically ask it to generate the walls for you. And this process, the quality of it depends on the quality of drawing. What we promise to our customers is that you would never spend more than 5-10 minutes to kind of clean up. So it does the initial work, and then you need to first make sure the assumptions on the material and thickness and height is correct, and then if there's some missing walls or something there. So this is my first floor. I use this thing for a second one, and and then third one. So easily I have 95% of my walls here generated for me, and from here you could again use our AI placements for your APs. You could apply basically say I want to do this design, for example, with GXC 101 or 100, and I want to make sure I have minimum 100 inside, and I guess we could go up to 30 dB. And I haven't defined any demand, so I just do coverage. So we say, find a minimum number of APs as I need to be able to meet that criteria, and say, okay, you need 5, and this is basically how it works. I can easily vet this. I have a design criteria for my cellular. I could add one, say, what's indoor, what's outdoor, and then I could see that, okay, everything's good. I'm only missing some primary, secondary here. So probably my solution is just go here and add one more AP, and that's it. You could, if it's PoE, you're able to add IDFs very fast and say, I have a switch, it has 24 ports and 250 watts. And this is the location of my IDF room. You add it there, and it basically automatically finds the amount of cabling that you need. Of course, as some sort of approximation there for you. It says you have 6 APs, you have about 835 feet of cabling. It shows you that kind of initial wiring. You have 24 switch ports, so you could see how things are here. And yeah, so you have your kind of initial ROM design done pretty quickly here. You are able to do easily, you could define a demand, say, I'm doing an office space. It automatically adds demand for you that you could change, but this is the detail. Basically, you have two types of devices. It shows the density, the throughput requirement and everything. You have a database you could change, you could modify there. But then I could go and ask for my stats. How good is this design? And say, oh, I'm good in coverage here, but on average, I'm using 93% of my AP capacity, and one of my APs at 140%. And I have 217 connections at peak. So I'm missing capacity here. So you could go and add more capacity or ask AI to basically does the capacity design for you. And you could easily do multi-floor design. There's an assumption that's, there's a floor here, it's concrete, it's 23 dB, and the same assumption exists for all 3 floors. Then all you need to do, basically enable it, say, where does the first floor start, where does the second floor starts, where does the third floor starts, and once you set that, it basically automatically aligns that based on your floors and starts all the calculation that is basically required there. You could see it in 3D, how things look like. Basically, these are my 3 floors. This is the amount of leakage I get on this floor. This is the amount of leakage I get on the second floor. And you could easily kind of do that multi-floor design here, or you could separate them from each other for a better view and see how it is. If you click on one AP specifically, you see the leakage of that one. And yeah, and then just like that, you're able to basically do your multi-floor design. You could see the specific leakage here. You could make assumptions on how are the floors and basically change the floor from there and see how that works from there. You have more leakage, you have less leakage there. We have all sorts of model if you do, for example, a warehouse. So I'm just going to turn off the heat map for a second here. And I could go and add, for example, an shelving units. And I say it's 12 feet high, and I have about 10 dB attenuation on the width of it. And I just go and draw it that easily there. And there are 2 shelves here for me now. And now if I add my heat map, it recalculates based on that. So you see I have my less signal here. If you have any sort of equipment, same thing, you could draw it. It recalculates everything there for you based on the material, based on how much signal basically travels through that, and does everything. And I could go easily and add more APs here and see how it impacts everything there. And everything's calculated live. If you move things, you just need to wait a second, and it does the calculation again for you here. There are a few cute features here you could use. We have this concept of annotation. If you go get a site survey at the start and say some notes here, there's a metal wall. And then you take a picture of it and you're able to basically upload that picture there. And for example, this is the picture. And you add it here, and then you don't need to basically email each other, Slack each other. You could easily basically work together here on one project and have multiple nodes, different types of overlays, and yeah, everything as you want there. I see a few more questions. Yes, we do support either if you want to do metric or imperial, if you want to do dBm or watts, and everything basically changes to meters there. Says, can you provide incline surface analysis? We're adding that feature pretty soon. At the moment, you're able to have like mezzanines and open spaces and everything like that. We are adding the incline for all sorts of walls and obstruction as well. It says, does Eino happen to support importing from Ekahau Predictive? The reality is that in your terms and conditions with Ekahau, you said you will not export data from your Sidekick. So technically it is possible, but they don't allow it. But there are many tools that they supported. So in terms of cellular, as I say, Qualpop, Lord and Schwartz, there's another tool we use that we support. But then we are building a partnerships with Air Magnet. If you use the Air Magnet for your indoor, you'll be able to import it in a couple of months to our platform and see how basically use that for your site survey data as well. And we keep adding more and more users, more type of supported devices there. So you'll be able to choose any sort of device and use it, the site survey data or drive test data to our platform. And that says we'll receive recording. Yes. Somebody says, I know that APIs Ekahau will upload data to Cisco DNAG. So I think they have like relationship with them. That's something we could certainly try, but at the moment we don't have that type of partnership with Ekahau to do it. But as I said, we are building it with Air Magnet, so you could do same type of work with their device. You're able to export anything from ours, so all sorts of heat maps and everything there and data, you're able to export it. Even GeoTIFF, some people use, you're able to do that. You could have the raw heat map with CSV, then you could basically add it to any other kind of analysis tool that you basically use. One thing that I forgot to show is our fixed wireless features. So now that we have 12 minutes, I want to quickly show that as well. You're able to do very precise fixed wireless analysis, point to point, point to multi-point, with all the details there. You could use the cellular for that, or you could use like different fixed wireless, different frequencies there. So I quickly do a point to point. For example, you want to do Cambium V1000, at 60 gigahertz, same concept. For example, it's placed here. You place it there, here with only one line of sight because it's point to point, and it basically shows at 60 gigahertz. You want to have line of sight. It shows how things are. You could easily move, say, okay, here's an uphill. Maybe I should put it here, and then from here, you could select this as a transmitter. You could say I have a Cambium 1000 at 10 feet here, and you could download your Fresnel zone analysis that shows you exactly what's between transmitter, your receiver, your all the analysis that needs to be done in terms of clear assistance, zone 1 radius, percentage, amount of signal you receive there. And you're able to also do point to multi-point. You could say this was done everything at 60 gigahertz, but for example, I go here and point to multi-point and I say I have these two, and you could upload all your RNs depending on the model. For example, I have these bicells and they are in different locations. One is here, another one is here. I could set the height and everything for that, you know, and save and add the third one, you know, and then this one is here and save. You could do thousands of these. It finds out what is the best transmitter from your selected transmitter and what's their best received signal. You could change its height. You could say if it's above a building, make sure it's 6 feet above the building, save. It recalculates, and then you could export the entire design here and with all the details there. There's a question says, I only see before we support any possible band. So for example, I could go here and add some cellular outdoor, for example, Salona. And here we have all these bands. I want to do N78. And any band, any country we support it, we just don't activate it right away because it's become an extensive list. And then you place, and now I have N78 here. And that's the beauty of it. You could have in the same design, I could add a Wi-Fi here as well. Say I have this Cambium X2VX, and I have a few of these Wi-Fi signal there. So in the same environments, I'm able to do my Wi-Fi. I can see my 5G, I could see my LTE, and I could see my fixed wireless. So the same assumption has been made in designing all sorts of network all in one place. So you don't need to move around 3 different tools to be able to basically do and run this analysis there. Yeah, so that's basically about our tool. We have some other features I haven't mentioned. For example, if you do an indoor and you do multi-floor, you could easily clone, you know, and then it creates the exact, if they have the exact same layout there, you'll be able to go and clone it there, and from there you have all your walls and everything's done for you, so you don't need to redo it there, and it kind of saves your time from there. Before I show more, did I miss any question, Oren? I think I went through all of them, but if I've missed any question, can you let me know? No?
The only one, yeah, I mean, you could go through them offline afterwards, but there is a question about if you get the same type of offload. I don't know if you answered that one. I'm not sure in what context.
Okay, I see one from Mark, says, what about surveying? Yeah, so we quickly talk about it, Mark, and it's great that you asked this question because Mark actually has this tool that you could do all sorts of surveys. So as long as you be able to export lat long with KPI, you're able to export it to our platform, run an analysis, compare, and basically see how it performs there. So yeah, this is an example of a site survey data there, and you could do it for all sorts of frequencies, LT. If you do under survey on 5G, if you do under survey on any telco band, you're able to see it here and see basically how it's working. It says how simple it is to add components to new vendors. If it's a new AP, you need to tell us, and we usually add it in 24 hours. If it's an antenna pattern, if you have a standard format, CSV, like Google Network Planner, you're able to import it here. You could import it as an external antenna and add it there right away. Also, if you have your radios, in CSV format exported from Google Planner. You could export them here easily. So basically, I showed you this zip file coming from Google Planner. My screen got frozen. Okay, no. So if you see my screen, once you do the zip file, this is the component. It has the antennas, it has the bands, it has the boundaries, it has the project setting and sites. We automatically add your antennas. If you don't have it, we automatically add everything. But if you only have the boundary, that's good enough. We create the project for you. If you only have the sites, which is basically the list of the APs and they're lat long, that's fine too. We automatically create the projects for you. You could start a project by creating that, or you could basically build a project and export the antennas later. So in that sense, it would be very easy for you to import, export the projects, in and out of the platform as you have there. Any more questions there?
So questions about meters versus feet, if you support meters?
Yes, I think yes.
Okay.
We do have imperial metric that you could choose, and we do that. I think I saw a question talking about tunnel. If they have a model for tunnel, not yet, but that's very easy to add. Nobody asked us. We could certainly add a tunnel model, and with different material, different opening and everything, and see how things work. You could place the AP inside, you could place the AP outside. That's certainly, I think it was Steve Riggs who asked me this question. We could certainly do that. And somebody asked about ducting. At the moment, our model for wiring uses a specific grid, but we are adding a feature that you could draw your ducting and we automatically put the cables inside that ducting for you, and in that they would calculate, and then you can make sure that you have correct basically there. Yeah. And yeah, this is Utah, the Zion Park, one of my favorite areas. All right, so I think we are almost out of time, and feel free to check out our website, Eino.ai, if you would like to do some sort of trial. Just send us a message here. We set up a time, or just directly book a time here, and we show you how the platform works. We give you a trial based on the use case as you have there. And we show all different types of use cases in our website. If you neutral host, private LTE, 5G, Wi-Fi, fixed wireless, indoor, outdoor, you could easily do. We do have a lot of help videos in our tool. They're all like 2-minute, 3-minute videos that you could use easily to learn the platform very fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to end with that? Yeah, thanks everybody for joining, and you'll all get the recording, a link in the next couple of days. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.